Good morning. That thing was on. My name is Darius Mitchell. Woo, caught it. I'm the hip hop Republican. And I'm in Columbus, Ohio, Franklin County, the Ohio STATEHOUSE. And I just don't understand, America, how we got here. 2020, we got 5 weeks before we start counting. 5 weeks before we elect a new president, right? So you guys all hate Donald Trump for the last 5 years. And the best challenger you could come up with to challenge Donald Trump is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I mean, you just lost to Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine, 2 U.S. senators from the 90s. So what do? You were so disturbed that Trump won. So what do? You nominate 2 more U.S. senators. 2 more U.S. senators. Not just any U.S. senators, but senators who have history of locking up black men on petty crimes, like marijuana. And you expect a coalition of Americans to get together and send Joe Biden to the White House. And it's just crazy. Everything's crazy. Democrats, y'all crazy. I mean, what have you been doing the last 4 or 5 years? I mean, Donald Trump, let's talk Donald Trump. I'm a Republican. I voted for Donald Trump in 2016. And what a terrible president. Like, the nation's all divided. You know, we have riots, police, protesters, and all. Like, usually a president could, like, give oratory and bring the nation together. But this president, he don't really care. He don't really care about bringing it. He don't have that oratory. He don't have that authenticity. He has authenticity, but it's his own brand of, he's only worried about his pockets, Jared Kushner's pockets, Ivanka's pockets, Mike Pompeo's pockets. And we need a new president. And I just don't see Joe Biden. Can you, like, imagine Joe Biden being sworn in? Hillary Clinton, she lost Ohio. She lost Pennsylvania. She lost Michigan. She lost Wisconsin. She lost Florida. She lost North Carolina? I think she lost North Carolina. And she's the same. Hillary Clinton is the same as Joe Biden, U.S. Senator from the 90s. Locked up a bunch of niggas. And something must change. You look around the world, and America is just losing our stature. But first, let's look around America. Let's look at all the gun violence. Kids being mostly black kids in black neighborhoods that have Congressional Black Caucus members as elected officials. Not Republicans, not Donald Trump, but black members of Congress. Cleveland, St. Louis, Kansas City, New York, Chicago, Indianapolis, Birmingham, Charlotte, Miami. And it's just a whole bunch of nonsense gun violence. One problem we have a president that will not say the words gun violence because he's so tight with Wayne LaPierre and the NRA. And we can't have that. We can't have a president that puts business interests over the interests of the American people. That goes with Joe Biden too. Wilmington, Delaware, Philadelphia, gun violence every day. Joe Biden lives there. Joe Biden has to be watching the news and seeing all those young men, all those young ladies in the Delaware Valley being gunned down. He never says nothing. He never says nothing. Black women, Cleveland, Akron, Columbus, St. Louis, Birmingham, Dallas, Houston, you name it. Black women getting gunned down every day. Black women. And you're supposed to have this black woman vice presidential candidate, this historic candidate, and she don't say nothing about black women getting gunned down. That ain't no history. That ain't no nothing. And I don't think Joe Biden and Kamala Harris ain't going to be in the White House. Because to be in the White House, you have to grab a grip of something. You got to care about something more than your individual interests. I say look out for Kanye, because you look at Donald Trump, he's 70-something years old. You look at Joe Biden, he's pushing for 80. And it's just depressing. Both parties, the Democrats and Republicans, they depressing the American people. They depress the vote. They depress the Democrats and Republicans. They depress the vote. They depress the American people. 300 million people in America, and the best presidential candidates y'all got is Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Best vice presidential candidate y'all got is Mike Pence. What a schmuck. And Kamala Harris. You got all these black women being gunned down across America, and Kamala has no passion on it. She's supposed to be this historic new black woman. Get out of here. If you ain't got nothing to say about black women being gunned down every day in America, I'm good with you. I'll go with the racist Republican president before I support a black woman or a black man who will be silent on us being gunned down. Straight up. And not just that, all these different states, Massachusetts, Delaware, you guys got these sorry ass senators y'all keep reelecting. The Ed Markeys, the Elizabeth Warrens, the Chris Coons, the governors, Charlie Baker, Carney in Delaware, and black people, you guys have mortgaged your future to the Democratic Party, and that has failed us. We have gotten nothing from the Democratic Party. And Joe Biden, nobody has locked up more black men than Joe Biden. And that's the the cross bearer or the torch bearer. Fuck that, yo. What's wrong with y'all? And I hope President Trump and Mitch McConnell push through their Supreme Court nominee. I want to watch it. I want all the African American voters who continue to vote Democrat, election after election, day after day, year after year, decade after decade. I want y'all to see how powerless. I want black people to see how powerless your vote is when you're voting Democrat every election. And that's what you're going to, when Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell push through their Supreme Court nominee in the next 37, 36 days, I want African Americans to watch how powerless they are in the U.S. Senate. U.S. Senate right now got a bill holding stimulus checks for Americans, $1,200, unemployment for Americans, $600 a week. And African Americans, we got no say in it because every election we vote Democrat. And let's look at some of the Democratic senators in the U.S. Senate right now. Ed Markey, 70 years old, been there since 78. Elizabeth Warren, 70 years old. Richard Blumenthal, he's 70 years old. Jack Reed voted for Iraq. in Rhode Island. He's about 70 years old. Who else y'all got there? Chuck Schumer. He's about 80 years old in New York. Don't deserve the seat. You got Tim Scott in South Carolina. He's a Republican. He's a schmuck. Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. He's a schmuck. 70 or 60. Tim Scott. He's a whatever. In Georgia, where there's so many African Americans, y'all continue to give your votes to the Democratic Party. You got the stock market U.S. senator who sold a bunch of stocks before COVID hit. Her husband is in charge of the New York Stock Exchange. She's probably like the most wealthy U.S. senator because her husband runs the stock exchange. In Florida, you got Rick Scott, the former governor, Marco Rubio, and the African American voting power. See how Trump continues to get black voters, because black voters ain't putting together the coalition to win statewide elections. Yeah, Republicans, they'll give you Columbus, they'll give you Cleveland, they'll give you Dover, they'll give you Boston, they'll give you Chicago, they'll give you Indianapolis, Philly, Baltimore, Miami, Orlando. They'll give you those states. But the African American voters and the hip hop voters, y'all ain't winning statewide elections in the country. When Obama was in, at least you had candidates who ran for governor, who ran for U.S. Senate. And black people, you ain't getting it. And like, okay, I've been going around the country waving the not the white flag. I've been around the country waving the red, white, and blue. I've been to New York City, Dover, Charlotte for the Republican convention, Miami, Panama City, Columbus now. And black people, black women mostly, they look at me like, you a black man, you carrying an American flag, and like, they hate the flag. And why? No, I don't hate the flag, because my people have spilled too much blood for this flag. And all these other flags, the rainbow flag, the police blue and black flag, Black Lives Matter flags, fuck all that shit. I roll with the red, the white, and the blue. USA. And fuck all them other flags. They're imposter flags. There's only one flag. There's only one flag, and that's the red, the white, and the blue. And everybody asks, why do you carry that flag, Darius? You know why I carry that flag? Because of people like the Wright brothers, people like Frederick Douglass, Abraham Lincoln, Walt Disney, Henry Ford. Dude, they were failures, but they were under this flag, and they made it happen. And that's why I love the flag, because of those stories. Nobody can take away Frederick Douglass's story about how he was a slave in Maryland and escaped. And Lincoln's story, forget freeing the slaves, how the hell he become president 2 years after losing a U.S. Senate race in Illinois, and came back and defeated the same guy for the presidency under this flag, the red, the white, and the blue. Not under Black Lives Matter flag, not under the rainbow flag, not under the blue and black and whatever that flag is, under the red, the white, and the blue. And I'm tired of the bullshit. Massachusetts, y'all gonna elect Ed Markey again? Get the fuck out of here. And then wanna talk about Trump's racist? Nobody locked up more people than Ed Markey, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, the last three presidential candidates besides Obama. And then you bring these candidates to states where they locked up millions of black men, took black fathers, took black sons out of the household, mandatory minimum drug policy for the last 30 years, And then you go and run around running these ads on Black Radio, iHeartRadio, Steve Harvey, talking about vote. I ain't voting for Joe Biden. You guys can vote for fucking Joe Biden, but that ain't how it goes. You don't vote for your oppressor, people who gonna enslave you over fucking 10 grams of marijuana, while dispensaries open up around the country, and y'all voting for the oppressor. He got people here in Ohio locked up on drug charges, marijuana charges. Why their kids run around smoking crack, chasing hookers? In America, y'all on some bullshit. And I still predict neither Donald Trump or Joe Biden will be president. And my sleeper, I like Kanye West right now. But American people, you guys lack vision. You guys lack imagination. You guys let the sorry ass corporate media set the debate, set the what do you call that? Set the narrative for this country. And you really believe Donald Trump and Joe Biden is all this country got for president? You're lost then. Don't talk about Trump supporters. I mean, and you got to do something. It's 2020. Nobody knew COVID was coming. Nobody knew impeachment was coming. And COVID didn't wait for permission. COVID ain't letting Donald Trump set it in the narrative. COVID ain't letting the media set the narrative. COVID is setting its own narrative. And that's what the American people need to do. Think outside the box. You got a brain. You got an imagination. Use it. The best imagination you got is Joe Biden being the next president or Donald Trump being the next president. Get out of here. 60 years, Cuban embargo. You want to keep the Cuban embargo another 4 years? Bullshit. It's time for the Cuban embargo to end. It's time to tear down that wall. Cuban people. What does a 10-year-old have to do with the Bay of Pigs? What does a 20-year-old have to do with the Bay of Pigs? 30-year-old. And American people, the taxpayers, you guys pay for that embargo on the Cuban people. The Iranians, sanctions on Iran. Every day the president gets up and talks shit about Iran. The Iranian people are awesome. It's been around since the beginning of civilization. And the president sits around, gets to the podium, dissing the people of Iran every day, this and that. He's a schmuck. And it's time to tear down the Iran sanctions too. And American people need to have an imagination and stand up for something. You got people sitting in jail for marijuana, while marijuana is the biggest stock, the biggest, everybody's opening dispensaries. But y'all still got people incarcerated for marijuana. And not only that, some of you guys are trying to elect the godfather of mass incarceration, the president. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I'm good with that. End the Cuban embargo. Tear down this wall. And I don't think Donald Trump or Joe Biden, I put my money, neither one will be president at the end. And I like Kanye a little bit. Peace. This is Darius. I'm the hip-hop Republican. I'm proud to be Republican, too. Frederick Douglass, John Brown, Abraham Lincoln, Harriet Tubman. Forget all that civil rights bullshit, all that voting rights bullshit. It's been all downhill since then. All they want to do is lock us up. Lock up the black man. Take them out their home. USA, red, white, and blue. Only flag, man. Hip-hop Republican, Darius Mitchell. Peace. Embargo all day.